Anyway, apparently, experts sound alarm amid concerns over Chinese influence in schools. Where does anyone have a timestamp of where I get an honorable mention by Fox News? Do you know? Apparently, they brought my name up on this when talking about it. Xi Van Fleet, who survived Mao's Cultural Revolution, joins Fox and Friends Weekend to discuss Chinese influence in American schools and her broader warning on communism nationwide.
Owned groups have been buying up schools across the United States, including Spring Education Group, with ownership of 240 schools across 19 states. And they're funded by a Chinese investment firm whose CEO has been described as, quote, an ardent Chinese nationalist. Xi Van Fleet was born in China, and she lived through the Cultural Revolution.
Short. We'll just watch it.
She joins us now. She, always great to have you on. You know what? I've been following a lot of stuff with the CCP. I didn't even know that they were, owning or donating to 240 schools. Explain to our viewers why the Chinese would want to have this happen, what they're up to.
Yeah, I think it's so important for Americans to understand that CCP, since its founding in 1921, always regard America as its arch enemy and has been never stopped working.
No, literally wrong. Wrong to a degree where it's like, not only is this wrong, but it's so wrong that I would go so far as to say that, like, the USSR post World War II was the #1 op for America and vice versa, whereas China, in many circumstances, in many instances, with the exception of like the Korean War, for example, was aligned with the United States of America on foreign policy, as a matter of fact. So definitely wrong. And also extra wrong when you say like, oh, since 1921. That's super wrong. They were incredible allies during World War II. What the fuck?
To weaken and undermine the United States in order to replace it to become world superpower. And education has been the very important battleground. And since the early 2000s, they started with the higher education, with the Confucius institutions everywhere in the United States. And then they moved to the public schools with donation and exchange programs such as sister school programs. And now they're moving towards private schools, buying a lot of them. And so in 2015, they bought the high school, New York Military Academy, where Trump attended. And why? They're not here to make money. They're not invest to make money. They're here to take over American education and turn our classroom into the little red classroom and our education into American education with CCP characteristics. What they really want is generations of people like Hassan Piker. This influencer just went to China and then told his millions of followers that China offered the solution for America. Communism is the solution to the problems that capitalism created in America. That is what they want. And that is very, very dangerous.
Yeah, it certainly.
That's right, baby. That's right. That's right. That's what I did. That's me. Let's go. It's so, dude, I like that this is a controversial opinion. A controversial opinion is, hey, instead of, I don't know, going to fucking war with Venezuela, we should do robust development projects in the United States of America, not dissimilar to how the People's Republic of China has been able to modernize and urbanize at a rapid rate. Like, let's use some of the unlimited resources that we have in making America a dominant force for good around the planet, as opposed to endless wars, as opposed to endless extraction of natural resources from the global south. Nope, not allowed. We have to do more war with Venezuela. Fuck you. It's crazy that is like that's an unacceptable thing. Like this is considered, not only is it considered unacceptable, but it's actually considered inappropriate and dangerous. Okay? In a world where this is considered inappropriate and dangerous, that someone says, hey, while China has plenty of issues in its own governance as well, and ways of governing that Westerners would probably not appreciate, there is a lot of good lessons that we can learn from how well they've developed in such a short period of time. And you say that, and people go, abso-fucking-lutely not. How dare you say that? That is insane. How dare you say that? It's crazy.
Is and by the way, you mentioned that New York Military Academy, that is the school that President Donald Trump. So clearly, they're trying to influence the elites in the future elites.
Like the Confucius Institutes that they talk about are basically like educational partnerships. Okay, that's what they're talking about. It's like to promote the Chinese language and culture. That's it. That's the stated goal of Confucius Institutes. It's like the same principle behind like sister cities, you know what I mean? To promote like international cooperation, things like that. And these people literally fucking lose their minds. They're like, no, this is propaganda. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you think it's dangerous propaganda to say that like there are certain things we can learn about how China was able to develop so rapidly, if you find that to be dangerous propaganda, then you're a deeply unserious person, okay? If you think it's dangerous propaganda to promote international cooperation with every country, including with China, and you think that that's dangerous propaganda, perhaps you're the one who's doing dangerous propaganda. It is fucking ridiculous. Ultimately, all of this revolves around basically saying China bad, China bad, China bad, China wrong, China bad. Lawmakers saying that the Pentagon may have committed war crimes amid questions over alleged drug boat shootouts.
Meanwhile, President Trump raised the pressure on Venezuela's president, warning pilots not to fly over that country. Nancy Cordes is at the White House with more on all this. Nancy, good morning.
Tony, good morning to you. Over the weekend, President Trump appeared to send a major signal that some kind of strike was imminent, but nothing materialized, which left the Venezuelans and members of Congress here wondering exactly what he has planned and when. This comes as a new report from the Washington Post leads some lawmakers to ask whether the Pentagon has committed a war crime.
There is a buildup that the president has not explained.
Ohio Republican Mike Turner spoke for many lawmakers Sunday when he questioned the massive U.S. mobilization in the Caribbean.
It is certainly a significant concern in Congress.
Those concerns grew more urgent this weekend after President Trump announced that airlines and pilots should consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety.
Don't read anything into it.
When Trump was asked why he issued that warning, he would only say this.
Because we consider Venezuela to be not a very friendly country.
Now, there's a new controversy over those strikes on suspected Venezuelan drug boats. The Washington Post reported that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth gave an order to kill everybody on board before the first boat strike September 2nd. When two survived, the Special Operations Commander overseeing the attack reportedly ordered a second strike to comply with Hegseth's instructions, and the two men were blown apart in the water.
This rises to the level of a war crime if it's true.
Now, lawmakers in both parties are vowing to investigate.
If it was as if the article said, that is a violation of the law of war.
Hegseth called the story fabricated and derogatory and made light of it Sunday night by posting a pretend children's book cover depicting an armed turtle firing on drug boats. President Trump was out.
Yeah, the irony is like the attack on the drug boat, quote unquote drug boat, is quite literally the war crime in and of itself. But we're doubling down on the war crimes by doubly attacking the boat and two-tapping it. So I guess it's the Israelification of America in some ways. I guess one could say that America has always done this stuff, and there is truth to that as well. But yeah, it's this story in and of itself is so crazy because like it's both crazy because double tapping is explicitly a war crime, But the very fact that we are just blowing up drug boats off the coastline of Venezuela on international waters is a war crime in and of itself. What the fuck are we doing? This almost reminds me of the Signalgate saga, where everybody was like, oh, I can't believe you leaked the details of like America's bombing campaign in Yemen. And the question nobody was asking in mainstream media was, why the fuck are we bombing Yemen?
Last Sunday night, if he thought a follow-on strike like that would be legal.
I wouldn't have wanted that, not a second strike. The first strike was very lethal. It was fine. And if there were two people around, but Pete said that didn't happen.
Oh, okay. If Pete said that didn't happen, then that's fine. Except now they're saying the White House has confirmed that the Admiral approved the second boat strike, the second deadly boat strike. Caroline Leavitt defended the decision to kill civilians who had fallen off the boat after a first strike. Reminder, Admiral Alvin Halsey, the commander overseeing the operations of the Caribbean, announced his resignation the same day as Hegseth's illegal kill-them-all strike against survivors. I don't know. Was that the same day? But yeah, here is Caroline Leavitt being asked a very solid question. The president said that if someone sells drugs in that country, that doesn't mean you arrest the president. How is that any different than what the administration is doing, what the administration is accusing Maduro of doing? Yeah, oh, here. Does the administration, first and foremost, the administration was asked whether or not they denied that the second strike happened. Let's take a look at what they said.
Gabe. Thank you, Caroline. Excuse me. Regarding Venezuela, the president said yesterday that Secretary Hegseth had denied that second strike, the reported second strike on an alleged drug boat on September 2nd, the secretary said to the president that didn't happen. But to clarify, I just wanted you to clear this up. In his social media post, Secretary Hegseth didn't go into details about that strike. He just said U.S. operations in the area were lawful, and he said that the story and media reports were fabricated. So to be clear, does the administration deny that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
The latter is true, Gabe, and I have a statement to read for you here. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated. And I would just add one more point to remind the American public why these lethal strikes are taking place. Because this administration has designated these narco-terrorists as foreign terrorist organizations. The president has a right to take them out if they are threatening the United States of America and if they are bringing illegal narcotics that are killing our citizens at a record rate, which is what they are doing. And under the previous administration, there was enough...
Yes, it's a war crime, but we had to do it because of insert made-up reason. Yeah. It seems like the administration has their fall guy. They're claiming that Hegseth delegated the strike to SOCOM commander Admiral Bradley. Last night, Trump tonight the reporters. Hegseth said he didn't do it, adding when pressed yet again about the legality of the strikes, I wouldn't have wanted that, a second strike. The first strike was very lethal. Trump in October, we're going to kill them. Every single day, they run with the same exact modus operandi where they just go, that's not true. It's fake news. Okay, maybe it's real news. Maybe it doesn't matter if it was real news. Also, insert additional made-up information as to why this had to happen. It's annoying how libs are only now recognizing the war crimes of the American state. Them sleeping during the last 20 years pisses me off so much. No, I don't care. I just, it's good. It's good that they're waking up to it. And they should make a lot more fuss about this shit. This is an opportunity for you to have a conversation with people that you know that may have been oblivious to what America was doing and only now are going, wow, this is really fucked up, actually. This is an opportunity for you to tell them, to explain to them that, like, the very fact that we are striking these boats instead of, like, apprehending them, for example, is already ridiculous and a war crime in and of itself and completely unacceptable. Okay? Use the momentum to your advantage. Don't just cast this aside as like people only now realizing. Never gatekeep morality. I think it's a silly thing to do. But yeah, as far as it stands, you have the Admiral Bradley gave the order for the second strike is what they're saying now. Okay, says Bradley was within legal right to order the second strike. So White House not disputing the second strike, but is disputing Hegseth gave the kill order. Trump admin's case, Trump designation of drug traffickers equals fair game for legal. in air quotes, lethal targeting. Hegseth authorized Bradley to conduct September 2nd kinetic strikes. Bradley worked well within his authority to strike boat. Hegseth did not order everyone killed. So we went from it didn't actually happen to even if it did happen, it was good, to yes, it did happen, but it wasn't Pete Hegseth. Just wait until tomorrow when it's no, absolutely, it was Pete Hegseth, and it was Donald Trump actually that told Pete Hegseth, that told the fucking Admiral Bradley, but also it was all good and great and totally valid and warranted. At what point was it actually Hamas that struck the boat? Yeah. Well, we haven't reached that level of Israel yet. We haven't reached that level of Israelification yet, where we turn around and say Venezuela actually blew up their own boat. You know, because that's the most Israel way of going about it, where you're like, oh, well, I know that we actually celebrated blowing up these boats, but this boat was actually blown up on its own because it was a bunch of Venezuelan terrorists that were trafficking bombs, and Maduro actually blew it up because they wanted to make America look bad. Give it a minute. We'll get there.
Question. The president several days ago said it was his intention to pardon the former president of Honduras, who was a convicted drug trafficker.
Wait. I lived to see Islamo-narco-Bolshevism grow from a meme to an actual manufactured consent. Venezuela has become a major launch pad for huge volumes of cocaine shipped to West Africa, where jihadists are helping traffic it to Europe and record. Dude, Wall Street Journal, I think, is the least reputable newspaper in out of all the major papers. Straight up. They are the worst. They are the worst of the worst newspaper in America. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. By the way, the reason why this question is being launched at Caroline Leavitt and this administration in particular is because Donald Trump, amidst the we have to kill Maduro, we have to bomb Venezuela because they're drug trafficking, actually turned around and pardoned a convicted drug trafficker because he's homies with the current person that he wants to run Honduras. The reason why they're asking this question specifically, the president said that if someone sells drugs in that country, that doesn't mean you arrest the president. How is that different than what the administration is accusing Maduro of doing? We are accusing Maduro of participating in drug trafficking. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, in the same time frame, literally pardoned someone who we weren't accusing of drug trafficking, but someone who actually had drug trafficked so much, that they were actually arrested, like they were convicted of drug trafficking. It's fucking insane.
Question. The president several days ago said it was his intention to pardon the former president of Honduras, who was a convicted
No, not Ross Ulbricht. I'm not talking about the fucking Silk Road guy. I'm talking about the Honduran cocaine guy that Donald Trump also pardoned this past weekend. Juan Orlando Hernandez Alvarado, okay, is a Honduran lawyer, former politician, also convicted drug trafficker who served as the 38th president of Honduras for 2 consecutive terms from the 27th of January 2014 to the 27th of January 2022. This guy, Juan Orlando Hernandez, whom Mr. Trump called a victim of persecution, helped orchestrate a decades-long trafficking conspiracy. It ravaged his Central American country. He once boasted that he would stuff the drugs up the gringos' noses. He accepted a $1 million bribe from El Chapo to allow cocaine shipments to pass through Honduras. A man was killed in prison to protect him. At the federal trial of Juan Orlando Hernandez in New York, testimony and evidence showed how the former president maintained Honduras as a bastion of the global drug trade. He orchestrated a vast trafficking conspiracy that prosecutors said raked in millions for cartels while keeping Honduras one of Central America's poorest, most violent, and corrupt countries. Last year, Mr. Hernandez was convicted on drug trafficking and weapons charges and sentenced to 45 years in prison. It was one of the most sweeping drug trafficking cases to come before a U.S. court since the trial of the Panamanian strongman General Manuel Noriega 3 decades before. But on Friday, President Trump announced that he would pardon Mr. Hernandez, 57, who he said was a victim of political persecution. Though Mr. Trump offered no evidence to support that claim, it would be a head-spinning resolution to a case that for prosecutors was a pinnacle striking at the heart of a narco state. The president's 2-week trial in Manhattan and those of his associates before it offered a glimpse into a world of corruption and drug running spanning several countries. bags of cash, a machine gun with Mr. Hernandez's name emblazoned on it, and bribes from the drug lord Joaquin Guzman, the Mexican kingpin known as El Chapo, featured heavily. Prosecutors said Mr. Hernandez was key to a scheme that lasted more than 20 years and brought more than 500 tons of cocaine into the United States. 500 tons of cocaine. The people of Honduras and the United States bore the consequences, Merrick Garland, then the Attorney General, said in 2024 after Mr. Hernandez was sentenced. Now, of course, that was the Brandon administration, and therefore it's bad, right? Everyone that Brandon pardoned must be sent to prison immediately, and everyone Brandon sent to prison must be released post-haste, okay? Honduras, a country of around 10 million people, has long been linked to the United States. First as a home of sprawling banana plantations owned by the United Fruit Company. We all know what we did there. Then as the location of a key base used for U.S.-backed counterinsurgency efforts, and later as a military post for counter-narcotics. When drug trafficking routes began shifting towards Central America in the 2000s, Honduras came to play a role in transshipment, moving cocaine from South America towards Mexico and the U.S. border. Over that decade, trafficking rose, along with the murder rate, and drug planes arrived with regularity. The June 2009 coup that ousted Manuel Zelaya, the country's left-wing president, ushered in a golden age of drug corruption. Interesting. Mr. Hernandez, unlike many Latin American politicians, rose from humble roots. One of more than a dozen siblings raised in a rural coffee-growing region, he became a lawyer and entered Congress. As president, Mr. Hernandez told U.S. officials that he was doing his utmost to stamp out drug trafficking. But prosecutors said his political career had been fueled by drug money as early as 2009, when he was still a lawmaker and vying to lead the Honduran legislature. At the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, Mr. Hernandez was photographed smiling and giving a thumbs up alongside a known Honduran cartel chief. Didn't he also pardon the Silk Road guy? Yes, he did. You're right. He did do that, okay? That was for different reasons. But he does not give a shit about drug trafficking nonetheless, because this is a very clear-cut example of that, okay? I think that was more so for, like, libertarians. He was throwing a bone to the libertarians and the fucking crypto people and shit. But this one is direct. It's pretty fucking direct.
Caroline, excuse me, regarding Venezuela, the president said
we're going back to the drug boats, in air quotes, okay?
Yesterday that Secretary Hegseth had denied that second strike, that reported second strike on an alleged drug boat on September 2nd, the secretary said to the president that didn't happen. But to clarify, I just wanted you to clear this up. In his social media post, Secretary Hegseth didn't go into details about that strike. He just said U.S. operations in the area were lawful, and he said that the story and media reports were fabricated. So to be clear, does the administration deny that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
The latter is true, Abe, and I have a statement to read for you here. President Trump and Secretary Hegseth have made it clear that presidentially...
Is that a weird FPS on this, or is Twitch fucking with me? No, I don't know if it's like weird FPS on my computer in general, but I've been noticing that as well with YouTube.
Designated narco-terrorist groups are subject to lethal targeting in accordance with the laws of war. With respect to the strikes in question on September 2nd, Secretary Hegseth authorized Admiral Bradley to conduct these kinetic strikes. Admiral Bradley worked well within his authority and the law, directing the engagement to ensure the boat was destroyed and the threat to the United States of America was eliminated. And I would just add one more point to remind the American public why these lethal strikes are taking place. Because this administration has designated these narco-terrorists as foreign terrorist organizations. The president has a right to take them out if they are threatening the United States of America and if they are bringing illegal narcotics that are killing our citizens at a record rate, which is what they are doing. And under the previous administration, there was enough fentanyl trafficked into our country to kill every American man, woman, and child many times over. And so
not even coming from Venezuela, mind you. Once again, not even coming from Venezuela. And they have done zero propaganda to even imply that it's coming from Venezuela. They just say it, right? But they don't even tie it to Venezuela. They just say fentanyl's coming into the country. And they just let it hang. Okay. Is there any evidence that it's coming from Venezuela? Well, we didn't suggest that it was coming from Venezuela. We just said that it's happening. Right? Okay. Is this the most appropriate way of dealing with it, even if there is any evidence that you have presented that it's coming from Venezuela? Shut the fuck up. We have to bomb Venezuela.
Mister, you've made so clear how you want to keep drugs out of the U.S.
Right.
Can you explain more about why you would pardon a notorious drug trafficker?
Well, I don't know who you're talking about. Which
Juan
one?
Orlando Hernandez.
Well, I was asked by Honduras, many of the people of Honduras, they said it was a Biden setup. I don't mean Biden. Look, Biden didn't know he was alive, but it was the people that surround the Resolute desk, surround Biden when he was there, which was about very little time. And the people of Honduras really thought he was set up, and it was a terrible thing. He was the president of the country, and they basically said he was a drug dealer because he was the president of the country. And they said it was a Biden administration setup, and I looked at the facts and I agreed with them.
What evidence can you share that he was set up and that he wasn't?
Well, you take a look. I mean, they could say that you take any country you want. If somebody sells drugs in that country, that doesn't mean you arrest the president and put him in jail for the rest of his life.
Mr. President, do you think the U.S.
That includes this country, okay?
Why does he sound like shit? Excuse me. He sounds amazing. How dare you? How dare you do such? How dare you say such
New
things?
details in the deadly National Guard ambush investigation. Ramanullah Lakanawal of Afghanistan facing murder in the first degree after 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom died from gunshot wounds.
Yeah, I can't get over the fucking whole, we're dealing with drug traffickers at the highest level here. And that's why we have to bomb Venezuela, while simultaneously in the same weekend, I cannot believe that in the same weekend he pardoned the former president of Honduras, who got 50 years for drug trafficking, like convicted drug trafficker. They're dabbing on us. How can you look at this as anything but they're dabbing on us? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You have to be doing it on purpose, right? It's like, haha, what are you going to fucking do, bitch? Yeah, they're just flexing, right? This has to be a flex. I don't know. They're teabagging. They're teabagging. It's BM. Like, maybe don't do this right now. Maybe do it like a year later, after you have already been in the depths of bombing Venezuela to combat narco trafficking, as you have claimed. Because one's an actual convicted drug trafficker. The other one, you're just kind of making up. You're just kind of saying is a drug trafficker, but you don't even have your heart in it.
Sustained when he allegedly opened fire on her and her fellow West Virginia National Guardsman, Andrew Wolf. Over the weekend, a candlelight vigil to mourn Beckstrom, along with a solemn honor escort near the U.S. Capitol. Wolf, who is only 24, remains at a D.C. area hospital with serious wounds.
Andrew is fighting for his life right now.
The FBI has interviewed family and associates of the 29-year-old suspect and tried to exploit documents and other material obtained through searches of mobile devices, his social media footprint, and properties tied to him.
We believe he could have been radicalized in his home community and in his home state.
But thus far, authorities have not publicly released any specific evidence tying the suspect to a specific terrorist organization. And while the investigation into potential terrorism ties remains active, officials say they're also seeing signs of financial stress and a potential mental health crisis. Sources telling ABC News Lakanawal was vetted by and worked with the CIA during the war in Afghanistan. He was brought into the U.S. under the Biden administration in 2021 through the program Operation Allies Welcome, and was granted asylum by the Trump administration in...
One of the crazier parts of this is they keep saying that like, oh, he was radicalized in the United States of America post-vetting. It's like, no, he was radicalized when he was 15 years old and the CIA groomed him to be a fucking death squad mercenary. Yeah, the terrorist organization that he was affiliated with is the American terrorist organization of the CIA.
April, on forces...
Like, this is a picture-perfect representation of the hogification, right? This guy is just like any other American veteran experiencing PTSD, many of which have done damn near identical crimes on U.S. soil this past year. The only difference is he was Afghan. He's an Afghan national. Like, instead of going through the regular route of being like a poor guy living in Nebraska or something and doing ROTC, and then, I don't know, instead of going, I guess ROTC, you just go into the officer program, but like instead of ROTC, you just like, you fantasize about joining the military, you become a Marine, and then you go to Afghanistan and do like similar kinds of crimes. And then you come back home and you fucking, you snap. He's just the Afghan version of this. I don't understand. Like, people are making it seem like this is a totally different issue. The asylum application literally asks if you've been a part of a paramilitary group who has committed significant harm or killing as a disqualifier. No way should he have been granted. What are you talking about? Chatter. He was doing it for the CIA. He was a contractor for the American government. Like, he wasn't doing it for... What? The point here is not that he was granted asylum. The point of the problem is not that he was granted asylum. The point of the problem is that this zero unit exists to begin with. The issue is that the issue starts not at the point of like letting people like this into the country. The issue starts at the fact that units like this even exist, or even American military presence exists in Afghanistan.
Sources telling ABC News he was unemployed and deeply impacted by the death of one of his Afghan commanders. Sources say in recent days he had been isolated and increasingly distant from family and friends. The suspect remains hospitalized under heavy guard. In the wake of the attack, President Trump has halted all asylum applications.
Yeah, they're using this as an opportunity to halt all asylum applications. This is great. It's fucking awesome. It's just so unimaginably racist. Yeah, this is
great.
Yeah, this was awesome.
We've got our girl squad and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win. Your favorite blonde state rep. Her phone's always at 1%. I think my superlative is most likely to always have her phone at 1%. So
Could you
no, I'm still here. Okay, so we're waiting for my phone to charge. Let me send this to Emily and the girl. There we go. Okay. Did he let them go? Oh, people.
Us?
Yeah, they think we were arrested.
I mean,
My life cut out. Yeah, well, it's because your girl can't keep her phone charged. So they're probably running our information. Nikki, tell us what's transpired tonight.
So we found the ICE and the THP people. I did not put makeup on because this was not
Okay,
planned.
then I'll put it back.
No, I mean,
you're
it's
good?
fine.
Okay.
I've already seen it.
Okay.
We found the ICE and the THP people, and then we followed them to the gas station, and I took their spot at the gas station, so I think that made them a little upset. And then I tried to go in the gas station, go to the bathroom, but the gas station people would not let me go, even though I told them I really had to. And then when I got out, they were leaving, so I left too. And then they pulled into another parking lot, and when I pulled into the other parking lot behind them, then they flicked their lights to pull us over and accused me of running a red light.
So there we are.
So here we are.
Tomato.
Help.
Okay,
Why?
why do you think that they came up to my side? The state trooper came up to my side of the window and not Nikki's window. Why do you think that happened?
Also, she did not have to give her ID. Am I correct? I know I'm correct because I asked this earlier.
So why do you think that...
This is awesome and good, okay? There's a difference between me showing this and actually talking about how fucking awesome this is and the correct thing to do versus Manu Raju posting it on CNN amidst the fucking campaign, okay, in a hostile manner. That's why she's not going to fucking answer the question of being like, well, what about your old tweets? She's not going to fucking answer that question on CNN the same way that she would in a situation like mine. With an audience like mine. I think there's two reasons. I think two reasons why CNN does this. One, because of Israel, obviously, like her position on Israel. And two, this once again is a major blow to the establishment Democrat narrative that Zoran's politics only works in New York City. New York City is not plus 25 Trump. The district that she is potentially going to win, inshallah, tomorrow, is all of a sudden DSA endorsements in Tennessee. If a DSA endorsed candidate in Tennessee that's anti-Israel fucking wins an impossible race like this, it's over. What can fucking Matt Iglesias write about? He will kill himself. Think about that. He literally has spent his entire life being like, this kind of politics only works in big cities. I mean, think about that. Think about Ezra Klein. What will Ezra Klein talk about? At least unlike Matty Iglesias, I think Ezra Klein will read the tea leaves and then, I don't know, try to restructure his abundance argument to be like, well, Aftyn Behn won because she's an abundist. But Matt Iglesias is so antagonistic to any sort of expression of left politics that he probably would kill himself if she wins. Save yourself the time and retract the suicide statement? What? Why? I didn't say he should. What do you mean? No, clippers and all, but like nothing I said is like clippable. They're just going to call Nashville a big city? Yeah, except this is a part of Nashville alongside, this is a specifically crafted district that's supposed to be, this is a specifically crafted district that's supposed to be better for Republicans.
It then deleted a post that said, quote, good morning, especially to the 54% of Americans that believe burning down a police station is justified. Another, you appear to support, supportive of a demand to, quote, defund the police. Do you regret posting those comments?
Fuck you, man. Fuck you. This dude. Fuck you. Actually, fuck you. Fuck off. Fuck off. God damn, bro. CNN is so ass. Oh my God. I'm sorry. If you're supposed to be the liberal, impartial, unbiased news outlet and your line of questioning is identical to what Jesse Waters would ask, then maybe you're not impartial and unbiased.
Yeah, I said that during the George Floyd moment when the entire country was demanding accountability and safer policing. And what I've always believed is that communities need investment. They need investment to be safe. They need investment in mental health responders, first responders, and youth programs to reduce that crime. And, you know, I was a private citizen back then, and now I'm a lawmaker. Like I said, I represent 60,000 voters with diverse political opinions. But what I hear.
Yeah, and then the next question is, so your opinion has changed on policing. Your opinion has evolved, so why did you say it?
Hear from families across the 7th District is that they want safe neighborhoods and they want to lower the cost of living, and that's where my priorities are.
So should you not have posted those?
Like I said, I'm a lawmaker now, and so
yeah, see, I called it. I knew exactly where he was going to go with that question. Bro, what the fuck is this piece of shit doing? It wasn't an interview, it was a hit job. My God, I wish you would just push Republicans as hard as you pushed her. What a bunch of dumbass questions. Do you think ICE should be abolished? Do you support AOC? She's trying to win a seat based on affordability, not this bullshit line of questioning. Why are you surprised at all? No. This goes beyond. I'm surprised because this is... Dude. I'm surprised because it's a fucking red seat. Okay? It is a fucking red seat. And even CNN, under previous standards, would not try to rat fuck a red seat race that's this close, that's this big of an upset chance at the last hour. The line of questioning, no, not old CNN, no, in general. Okay, you guys need to understand something, okay? Doing this to Zoran is different than doing this to Aftyn Behn. Because even if Zoran loses, in the eyes of CNN, it's still like Andrew Cuomo victory, whatever. Who cares? This is, if Aftyn Behn loses, the drama goes away. Right? The drama goes away from their perspective if they only care about like propaganda purposes or if they only care about like the marketability of candidates and whatnot. This is a major upset. They're trying to put their hand on the scale and tilt it against Aftyn Behn, the underdog here. It goes beyond like, I mean, this is like aggressively ideological, I think. I love you all, but like I said, I got to get ready. I'm tomorrow when I'm live, I'm going to be live from Ireland. So get excited for that, ladies and gentlemen. Live from Ireland tomorrow, live from Dublin tomorrow.
Sunny Los Angeles, California.
What time is the flight, big dog? Oh, you said what time, big dog? Same time. Probably a little bit earlier if I have some podcast appearances and shit tomorrow morning. But I will be live at 11 a.m. Pacific time, if not earlier. Because that's just how time zones work out there. Like on Wednesday, I'm probably going to be live, like super early potentially. Anyway, see you all then and there. Bye bye. Peace.